Hey, history of photography people. Well, welcome to life in the classroom under the pandemic. I just have to make a confession. I just recorded about a 30-minute video about our group forums and giving you a tour of Moodle, and then realized that I hadn't added the audio track to the video. So I totally get it. We are going through learning curves like crazy, and so having just made a complete waste of a 30-minute video, I know what you are going through, and I get it. I dig it. What I want to say to that before I get into the material is that I'm not just a glass half full guy. I think I'm like the glass is always overflowing. I guess it's just a worldview. I always see opportunities in situations like this. And yeah, we're going through a lot of learning curves. Some of you are learning how to cope online, how to deal with an online course. We're in the early stages of that in this course here, and some of you are also learning what the hell is Moodle and what's an LMS? What are these online learning systems about? How do we do any of this? I think some of us will also be learning about how to direct your own learning, and that's an important transformation that I think will be really good for you. And it will be difficult and it will be painful at times and frustrating at times, but dig it, man. There is no learning that doesn't happen with some discomfort. If you're completely comfortable and copacetic all the time, you're probably not learning anything. There has to be a willingness to be uncomfortable and push yourself a little bit. So sometimes that means like reading a lot. Sometimes it means dealing with frustrations of a new learning curve, and but you then that's how you benefit. You can't learn to play the guitar without making your fingertips uncomfortable, getting calluses, or getting frustrated trying to learn a new passage, or can't play the saxophone without developing an embouchure and toughening up your lips. So there is stuff to go through with every single learning experience, and I'm going through it now, trying to learn how to do OBS and create videos and create live stream events for Gallery Bergen that I direct. So I know we're all going through it. So I made a 30-minute video before, and I'm going to try and shorten that because that was like probably way too much, and who wants to sit through that shit? So, but what I wanted to do was just demonstrate to you very quickly a little bit of a tour of Moodle so that those of you who aren't sure where to find stuff know how to find stuff. And so I'm going to just turn my page here so that you can take a look at Moodle. And this is the introduction page, and there's just a wealth of material here. What I'm finding is that a lot of you, maybe even most, come out of it. Your generation, I think, it's interesting, and we're going to talk about this as a subject matter because I think you're awash in images and there's just a sheer overload of information coming at you all the time. And I think it sets up you have filters set up that where you only sort of take in the most obvious images. And what you will need to do is override those filters with these course materials, with these course interfaces. And you're going to have to learn how to read in a deeper way online and in the course structure itself. You have to go looking for information, and you have to start to become much more of an engaged reader and an information seeking animal to be able to get what you want out of this. So don't just let it pass over and gloss over. You're going to have to actually focus and go looking for stuff. So with that in mind, the first page of the course, the introduction page here, This looks probably a little bit different than what you're looking at. This is the faculty view. This is my view, but very, very similar. You have the menu on the left-hand side. We go week to week. I've sort of made it more obvious in terms of what section headings, what is the material we're going to be studying for each week, so you get a sense of what's coming. The introduction here is mostly about resources. So I'm going to post announcements here, which will come to your inbox. Every time I post an announcement, it will go to your inbox, and you can just click on that link, and it'll come to what I have raised for that week. So I've posted one so far about a post-World War II Japanese photography show from Lens Culture. Actually, no, it's not. It was actually from The Guardian. So I put those there for your interest and for your education. If you'd like to go to that, please do. Take a look at it and chase it. If it's something that interests you, pursue it, bookmark it. We'll be doing final projects, so maybe if some of the stuff I put up, maybe you can just sort of keep it in mind as something you'd like to go back to for deeper study. So that's the announcements page. It's mostly about cool shit that I find, and I'll introduce that to the rest of the course. This was your first assignment. These are the open forums, and I make great use of these during the course. Different than a lot of online instructors, I do group and class participation as the biggest part of your grade. So you think, well, how do you do that? We're not sitting in a classroom. How could I participate? This is how you participate, is through these forums. And I've also found in my many years of teaching this course and others in art that I found that you guys get a lot more out of the material when I'm not talking and when I'm not doing the presenting. I've learned to approach this subject matter from the point of view of creating a community of scholars. That is, you all have a base of experience and you also have research capabilities. And I want you to learn to become independent researchers, and that for you to bring what you learn to all of us, so that we're co-equals in a project of exploring this topic, which happens to be the history of photography. And that's my perspective on it. So I'm challenging you to not see yourselves as, first, hostages, being held against your will and forced to take this gen ed course. So that's the first level, but also not as passive consumers. I want you to see yourselves as active researchers in this field, just as I am. And I can't tell you how many students I've had in this course who have produced unbelievable research, several of whom have gone on to publish academic papers in peer-reviewed journals. I've posted some of their articles on the course. For later in the course, you'll be able to see. But they've taken me seriously in that way, and they have gone and looked and done research and created bibliographies and done interviews and created publishable materials as undergraduates at Bergen Community College. And that's an incredible thing. For one, it's a ticket to a four-year school in the Ivy Leagues if you're able to create something like that, or at least to a school that is one that you'd want to get into and where you'd want to finish your degree. But that's the kind of initiative that you can take if you want to, and I will guide you. I will be here to help you get to that point if you want to. But each of these assignments is set up for you to become an independent researcher and for you to dive in. This is the easiest one, which is to introduce yourself. I think there's still some people out there who still are introducing themselves, and that's fine. Here's this ugly bald guy taking pictures from his basement again. This was a forum that I posted just at the beginning for anybody who wanted to contribute. We had just had a couple of things come in. Of course, here's the syllabus. you should read it. Find out what the course is about, what you should expect to learn. And then you can also read about what my expectations are. I think I just summarized some of them here. You'll find out about my priorities, which are, again, mostly about class participation and engaging in these forums. You'll see that I create at least one opportunity per week for you to come and visit with me online in a WebEx seminar. I keep these to half an hour or under. This is almost like open office hours. If you want to come in and have questions answered, if you want to do so privately, you can always do that. Just email me and we'll get together on Zoom or WebEx, whatever's comfortable for you. Or we'll chat online, or you can call me on the phone. We'll set up a time when we can do it that way. But the weekly WebEx ones, I'm going to be doing them at sort of different times so that different folks, if they want to, can come in. You'll get invitations in your email inbox to your Bergen ID, your Bergen email address, and you'll be able to log on to those if you choose to. Some of them I will post online if they're germane to the discussions that we're having. Some I may not, some I may edit down. I will do at least a short presentation in each of these, which I will probably then post online afterwards. So those are weekly, those will come up, and you'll get announcements about them as they're posted. Some of you have asked about the textbook, which you can purchase. It's a great book. If you want to get a copy of it, a hard copy yourself, you can purchase it through the bookstore with this link here. Also, for those of you who do not wish to purchase it, well, I'll just point out this place here. You should open this up and see what kind of Easter eggs you might find inside. Then down the list here, there are books that are also here in PDF form. The most important one I would point out to you would be On Photography by Susan Sontag. If there's another supplemental text that I think you should read for this course, this short book is one of the best I've read on any subject. And Sontag is a phenomenal writer, an award-winning author. Just passed away a number of years ago, but has written still some of the most important things about photography. We'll be reading some of them in short versions very soon, but this is an amazing book, and I hope that you'll take a look at it and read it if you're interested in this subject. Then I have a list of other books here. I'm going to skip over them. You might take a look at this Encyclopedia of 19th Century Photography, which is a compendium. I think it's 800 pages. It's just a ridiculously big book. If you're looking for research about anything having to do with the 1800s and the early invention of photography, the people involved are all located there. And then for a lot of this course, we will be analyzing photographs, and you will be asked to develop a vocabulary for being able to describe photographs and talk about them and the differences between different photographers and their approaches. And you're going to need a vocabulary to do that. And I would urge you to look at these following articles: Analyzing Photographs, Basic Strategies in Reading a Photograph, and then from the Library of Congress, Reading and Researching Photographs. They're not long articles, but this is where you will find the vocabulary that you will need to make your journal presentations, the ones that I've asked you to do, image comparisons. This is the vocabulary that I'm expecting you to learn to be able to complete these assignments. So please take these things seriously. Following here is a list of my favorite websites and blogs. Especially Dodge and Burn is fantastic. Foam is very cool. And then I will point you also to Lens Culture. I hope that you'll check this one out in particular. It's my favorite. Best of contemporary photography from all over the world, and a lot of countries that you may not have ever even known existed. So go to Lens Culture, and it's fantastic. So lots of resources. This is all on the introduction page. Tons of stuff here. So if you're looking for research topics for papers or looking for things to make your papers or your journal presentations, your comparisons, or your forum discussions better, this is where you can go to find it. And this is part of being an online student, is you're expected to go find it and to do it for yourself and to find the initiative and the drive to chase it down, go after that information. So I urge you to do that. I'm going to skip right over to the place where I've been getting some questions and concerns, which is this current week that we're wrapping up. I have posted a number of articles here for you. Here's Sontag again, which you should have read for this week. It relates to the project that we're doing for you to locate your oldest family photograph. Then I have a series of articles that are meant to demonstrate to you that the invention of photography and the proliferation of photography was not just limited to Europe and the United States. That, in fact, there's a strong case to be made that Hercule France in Brazil, he was a Frenchman living in Brazil in the 1830s, has a strong claim on being one of the most important inventors of photography, but the way the world was separated at that time and how long it took for people to communicate with each other by letter on overseas, by ship, by boat, took months to get information from one place to the other. People didn't even know about him until events had transpired in Europe. About early Japanese photography, about West African portrait photography. There were people involved in the production of images through photography at its very early stages all over the world that have had significant impact on the development of their own regional art, and as the art and technique of it has advanced overall, they have made very important contributions, and I want you to be aware of these. There are your study questions then on Chapter 3 in Hirsch, which I'm going to skip over, and then just to get to the forum assignment, you should have gotten an email. I messaged everybody in the class about their group assignments and what group you are in. I named each of the 5 groups after a particular photographer, and each group has been assigned to research a particular one of the early originators of the technology. Each one of you is to then create an argument for that person being the most important and significant contributor. Each group is to come up with that as if you're a group of patent attorneys charged with making an argument in court why that person of all people should get the lion's share, and that their ancestors, or not their ancestors, their descendants should be in line for the profits. So tell me why Daguerre deserves all the credit or deserves the lion's share of the credit if that's the group that you're in. But you guys need to get together with your group, and you do so by just opening up the forum that your group is charged with. Each group is limited to each of the forums is limited to the people in that group. So you have that discussion within the forum context. Come up with a presentation between yourselves as you discuss it. Come up with the things that you want to present. And when you come up with your argument, then you make your case here in this open forum, who deserves the credit. And then you post your presentation there, and then everybody has access to this. Then you start to have the argument. And I'm going to be in the sidelines and be instigating and trying to throw as much gasoline on the whole thing as I can to try and get you to make arguments and make claims and bring evidence and bring proofs and to try and substantiate your positions. So I'm hoping that you'll take this seriously and don't be afraid of it, and just jump in. If you're in Group Evans, jump in and start to have a discussion with your group mates. Nobody has posted in this forum yet, so jump in, make arguments, and get your group folks engaged with each other, and then make your presentation in the next couple of days in the Make Your Case forum. So I think that should be pretty clear. It looks like folks still don't know what groups they're in. I'll send out yet another message, and I'll post online who's in what group, just to make it clear again. But you all need to be reading your emails and staying up with your Bergen email, because that's where notices from this course are going to land. So I'll try and make it easy, but also try and help a brother out here. Try and make it easy on me so I don't have to duplicate efforts in 100 different ways. So you need to go out and get the information. Just start to read, start to look. And again, but if you have any questions, email me. Let me know, and I'll answer within a day's time. So that's, I think, about as much as I want to cover right now. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I wanted to give you at least this tour of Moodle, and I will just show you one other thing just before we go here. If you're not aware of it, you should make sure that you take a look at your course dashboard. Yours is going to look different than mine, but what you will see on your dashboard, just like I do, you're going to see a collection of New York City photo galleries and museums, links to what I consider to be the most important ones. There are virtual exhibitions going on at all of these that you can take a look at, so chase those links if you're looking for interesting material. Also, you will see your assignments come up in a block here, so you can click on this and you'll be able to see all the assignments that have been given and what the due dates are. So that exists on your course dashboard. So if you have any issues or questions about the course, you can always go there and take a look. So that wraps up my session here for you today, and I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that we can make some headway and you can get a little bit more of a comfort zone working with the course. And I hope that you'll be able to complete this group forum assignment within the next few days. If we need to, I'll extend the deadlines. But let's try and dig in and make this happen before Wednesday of this next week, okay? So I'm looking forward to your posts and looking forward to seeing what you come up with, and you'll be hearing from me soon. So take care.